Much for the opportunity to be here. I will submit written testimony and summarize that testimony. I come before this committee today in support of H.R. 890, the Holocaust Insurance Accountability Act of 2011, with a long experience of having served as insurance commissioner and dealing with this issue. For decades, Holocaust survivors and their heirs have sought to locate insurance policies their families may have purchased during the days preceding and during World War II from European insurance companies. H.R. 890 will allow those individuals to bring civil action in federal district court against the insurer or related companies of the insurers to recover proceeds due or enforce any rights under those policies. This bill would also allow states like California to require insurance companies to disclose information on policies that they sold during that period of time. In the aftermath of the war, as survivors sought to rebuild their lives, they were again victimized, not by hostile military forces, but by the very insurance companies that they and their families relied upon for financial security. In the concentration camps, they lost their human right to physical security, and now insurance companies continue to rob them of their financial security needed to help them rebuild their lives and to continue in a good state of health. In a cruel twist of fate, survivors of the Holocaust insurance claims their insurance claims were rejected because they lacked the necessary paperwork. As we all know, the Nazis did not issue death certificates. Documents that insurance companies knew or should have known were either confiscated by the Nazis, lost, or hidden in some file somewhere in Europe. The International Commission on Holocaust-era Insurance Claims, ICHEC, established in 1998, decades after the end of World War II, tried to remedy some of the injustice perpetrated by the insurance companies by examining claims put forward by the survivors. Unfortunately, ICHEC did not require the insurance industry in Europe to divulge their records so that survivors and their families could go through those records to determine if there was a policy. Keep in mind that the records were lost, or in many cases not known by the survivors. That was a major flaw. To remedy that flaw, California passed legislation to require insurance companies doing business in California to submit all the records so that individuals, families, and survivors could go through those records to determine if there may be a policy that existed. Unfortunately, the U.S. Supreme Court disagreed with the California law, and in a 5-4 decision, the American Insurance Association et al. Versus John Garamendi, Insurance Commissioner, State of California, required in that decision that the California law was unconstitutional, that it interfered with the executive branch to conduct foreign policy. There's strong exception to that by me and by many others that the court erred. The legislation put forth by the chairwoman would right that wrong and allow the state of California to proceed to require insurance companies doing business in California to disclose all their records so that survivors and their families and heirs could go through those records to determine if there was a policy. In addition, H.R. 890 allows civil action so that individuals can bring suit. All of these are extraordinarily important remedies for a horrible misjustice and that was carried out during the Holocaust. It is time for the European insurance companies to step up, to honor their claims. They've held that money for decades. That money may very well not belong to them. It may belong to survivors, children and relatives of the survivors. I really want to thank the chairwoman for bringing this bill back for a second, maybe even a third time, and never give up. Never give up. This is an issue of simple justice. It's also an issue of contract. The insurance companies entered into a contract. They must honor that contract by divulging information. And I would hope this bill becomes law. Thank you for the opportunity to appear. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.